Challah, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Tes. Ha-challah v'ha-truma chayovim alehem misa v'choymesh. Both challah and truma, one would be chayev if one consumed this. A non-kohen consumed either challah or truma, b'mezid, one would be chayev misa b'dei shomayim, and a choymesh if they were eaten unintentionally and they already belong to a particular kohen, a person would be chayev the principal, the amount consumed, amount eaten to that kohen, and an additional choymesh could be paid, should be paid to any kohen. That choymesh, that fifth, is in fact 25% of the original principle. And the reason that choymesh, that surcharge, is 25%, if we had an example where the non-kohen consumed challah or truma worth 100 shekel, the choymesh would be an additional 25 shekel, because 25 shekel is in fact a fifth of 125 shekel. And that's why the surcharge is called a choymesh. Also, asurim lezorim, even if less than a shear kazayis, where the chiyuv, there wouldn't be a chiyuv of misa, nevertheless, asurim lezorim, they are still, challah and truma are forbidden to be consumed by non-kohenim. And challah and truma, once given to a kohen, are v'heim nichsei kohen. They are possessions of the kohen, and the kohen can do with them as he pleases and purchase other things from the challah and the truma. V'oilin be'echod umeah, and they would be nullified one portion of challah and truma in 100 times as much chulin. If one had truma and 100 times as much chulin, or challah and 100 times as much again chulin compared to the challah or the truma, it would be nullified, and the whole quantity could then be eaten by a non-kohen. Utu'unin rechitzas yadayim, and before being eaten, before being touched, a person should wash their hands. And the Chachomim made this gezerah because otherwise the challah and the truma would become tomei. And they also need hariv shemesh. A kohen who was tomei would not be allowed to eat challah or truma. Having gone to the mikveh that particular day, the kohen could still not eat the challah or the truma until it got to nightfall of that day, and thereafter the kohen could eat. When he was toher, could eat the challah and the truma. Ve'eini tolin min hatoher al hatomei. If a person had challah or truma, which was tomei, it is also, there's a chiyuv on the produce, on the dough, that challah or truma should be taken from it, even if the produce is actually tomei. The challah, the truma, could not be consumed, but it would enable the rest of the produce, the rest of the dough, to be eaten by a non-kohen. So, ein nitolin min hatohar al hatomei. One cannot take, whether it's challah or truma, from toher produce onto tomei produce. Elo min hamukov. Only if the two items are next to each other. And the second part of this Mishnah, Elo min hamukov, is the explanation of the first part. Let me explain that. There is a ruling that if one is taking truma or challah from, whether it's corn, grain, or in fact could be dough in the case of challah, they must be in close proximity. That's what, when it says elo min hamukuf, only when the two items are in close proximity can one take some challah truma from one, whether it's dough, whether it's grain, onto another portion. That being the case, Chazal said, we do not allow you to take from tahor produce onto tome produce. And the reason for that is because maybe a person would be scared and not put the two items in close proximity, because they would be worried that maybe the tome produce would make the tahor produce also tome, and therefore the two items would be kept at a distance from each other, and it has to be min hamukuf. For that reason they said, ein nitolin min ha-tahor al ha-tome. One cannot take challah from tahor produce for the tome produce. And that applies to both challah and truma. Also, both challah and truma can only be taken min ha-davar ha-gomor, something which is complete. The dough has been kneaded, the corn is ready, it's been harvested, and it's ready to be sold or ready to be stored. Ho'omer, someone who says kol gorni teruma, all my whole crop is truma. V'choli sosi, or all my dough that I have in front of me is challah. Lo omar klum, has said nothing. Why? Ad sheyeshaya miktas, as long as something has been left. Although there is no shear what the amount should be for truma or for challah, there must be something left subsequently. Because we find both with challah and truma the word reish is used, which means this is the first of other things, and that's being given as challah or truma. It's only the first of something if there is something else. And therefore, something, ad sheyeshai miktas, something must be left subsequently after taking the challah and the truma.